Triple header tonight in the association. This is the early line, Sirius XM channel 159, SportsGrid Network. Davis and Donny on a Monday morning, breaking it all down. And we start tonight at 7 p.m. Then we have another game at 7:30. Then the nightcap, which is 10 p.m. Eastern. That's between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Denver Nuggets. Game number one, we saw much more of the same, Davis. A sweep in the regular season for the Denver Nuggets. A sweep last year in the playoffs by the Denver Nuggets. A victory over the Lakers in game number one. As we're taking a look, the opening number in this game was 6.5 as a favorite towards the Denver Nuggets. We're now seeing 7s, and also other outlets now reporting 7.5. A total at FanDuel that opened up at 223.5, still sitting at 223.5. What has to change in this game for the Lakers to A, cover, and B, have a chance at victory tonight?
Well, you can't let Nikola Jokic go for a 35-point triple-double. That would pretty much be step number one, is you got to have the best player on earth have, a B- game instead of an A- game. You need to not allow Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to feel comfortable firing three-pointers from the corner. You're not going to beat the Nuggets. KCP is a good shooter, not a great shooter. So he's just taking wide open looks. And if you look at the data and just any game where KCP is comfortable letting those 3-pointers fly, it means your defense is not doing a good job because you're letting the Nuggets get into their sets, get the shots that they want. And you've got to have a third Laker, whether it be Reeves, whether it be D'Angelo Russell, whether it be Rui, whether it be one of the guys off the bench, have a good offensive game. Maybe even a great, for their standards, offensive game. Like if Rui hits 3-pointers in the first half, then the Lakers are totally drawing live. But if it's just LeBron, Anthony Davis pick and roll, LeBron ball screen, Anthony Davis on the nail, Anthony Davis trying to back down Jokic, even Anthony Davis trying to back down Aaron Gordon. Like Aaron Gordon is a crazy good defender. I feel like Gordon as the backup center is like such a key thing for the Denver Nuggets, and they don't really do it in the regular season, so it's not as famous as the Warriors' death lineup, but it's just as good, really. So you bring in Christian Braun or Peyton Watson as the fifth guy there with the starting unit when Nikola Jokic gets his rest, because the Jokic, another crazy thing about the Nuggets is the all bench units or the 3 bench guys and Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic lineups. Those are huge winning lineups. I mean, that really doesn't happen for any team in the NBA where you win with 3 bench guys and 2 of your starters, but Jokic and Murray really are. They're just that good. It's insane how good Jokic is. To be honest, Donnie, I don't really give a snowball's chance for the Los Angeles Lakers tonight or in the series. The Nuggets it's the same way I feel about the Celtics and the Heat series. We're like, sure, the Heat have these battle-tested veterans and they have this great coach, but you still need the talent. The ball still has to go in the basket, right? And the Nuggets are just better at that than pretty much every team in the NBA.
Like, if we're looking at this, it's interesting to say this the least. Let's just say it's a 7.5-point line by game time. I don't actually think the spread comes into play tonight, which means the Lakers are either going to win this outright, or it's one of those games where the Denver Nuggets have the Lakers down by double digits in the third quarter, and it's like white flag time. Like, you know what? We're just not going to be able to come back in this game, and they get smoked, so they save Anthony Davis and LeBron James. It's tough to say you can do that being down 0-2 but heading back, but I almost think like the Lakers might be resigned to, all right, well, we're down 0-2. We just better get that game in game number 3, or else we're probably looking at a sweep, or at least a gentleman sweep here. Now, let's move it over to the Garden, New York City center stage tonight. The Philadelphia 76ers and the New York Knicks will tip at 7:30. The line opened up at FanDuel overnight at 5.5. Now we're seeing 6s pop up. Chris Haynes tweeted out just about 20 minutes ago, the Philadelphia 76ers have released an injury report. That's not really an injury here because we're waiting to see what's up with Joel Embiid, but it's Tyrese Maxey questionable with an illness. That never helps in a big game environment where you need to be all in and playing well in a lot of minutes for the Philadelphia 76ers to win. So maybe that's why that line is a little bit on the move. Total in this game listed at 206.5. I love the over in game number 1 here, which snuck over, even though some of these teams playing some questionable quarters here. It's still a low number overall, but the Knicks favored by 6, which means they got to win by a pretty good margin tonight against the Philadelphia 76ers, Davis.
Yeah, I don't care that Maxey is questionable. I would take the 6. I would take the money line for the 76ers. I just, I think the Knicks are actually very similar to some of these other teams we've been talking about, where the level that the Knicks can reach, they already reached it in the regular season. That is definitely not true of the Philadelphia 76ers. The 76ers really didn't have a settled rotation. And in fact, they didn't get into what is now their playoff rotation until the final week of the season. That includes Buddy Hield as the first guy off the bench in those Embiid lineups. And people, Buddy Hield is like such a maligned player. He is a great shooter. I mean, he is a very, very good shooter, not a particularly great defensive player, but the Maxey, Oubre, Hield, literally anybody, Joel Embiid lineups should be very good. I saw a great quote the other day that whatever Tobias Harris is doing to the 76ers organization is way worse than what Jonte Porter did to the Raptors organization. And it's so true. I mean, I feel bad for Tobias Harris, but he's such a symptom of people just being sick of the 76ers not being able to get over the mountain in the NBA playoffs. And I think some super small lineups, especially when it's Hart and DiVincenzo in the front court, I kind of like those lines. Like anytime Anunoby is off the court, why not try and go super small, Nick Nurse? I like that idea.
Like if Tobias Harris made $8 million a year, nobody would ever pick on Tobias Harris. But essentially, he is a max contract player doing absolutely nothing out there. And also, when you're a max guy, I'm in the second or third cut, you should be wide open every single play, doing whatever you want, which means you should be 8 of 10 from the floor every night because nobody's paying attention to you. Never been able to seem to put that together. Let me ask you this question here on the Sixers and the Knicks game. If we do get a maxi that's limited tonight and we're not playing, are all bets off tonight? Like there's no way the Sixers can win and go into the Garden and handle their business? Or do both of those guys, meaning Joel Embiid and Maxey, have to bring their A game tonight for you, Davis?
No, because it's all about the big fella. If the big fella has a Joel Embiid game, 42 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, and the starting lineup change, you're already playing 2 point guards because you're playing Lowry and Maxey together. So you just sub in Buddy Hield for Maxey, and you just hope to get a hot shooting night out of Oubre or out of Hield. Like it's all pretty simple, but it's heliocentric around Embiid. Embiid just has to have a great game, regardless of Maxey's status, or the 76ers are not winning.
He's listed as questionable tonight. He's probably going to suit up. We'll see what type of effort you get out of Joel Embiid. You don't want to go down 0-2. The Sixers know that, obviously, but that spread working now in the Knicks' way just because of that Maxey news. Orlando Magic, Cleveland Cavaliers, and some best bets coming up next right here on the Early Line.
Talked about the Ohtani story. This interpreter, Ipe, clearly was a problem gambler. I mean, he would be identified as that and beyond. Now, there are a lot of others that are out there.
The timing didn't seem great. It seemed slightly tone deaf in terms of, maybe now isn't the time to say it. But the sentiment itself, you have to agree with. There's only so much a sports betting company can do, right?
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Throwbacks in white have now become the main uniforms in black and green as well. 4-game green.
Your contracts will be higher in 5 years because the ratings will be through the roof, people. Listen to me. Play games at 7 o'clock. Get more ratings. Make more money. It's simple, but somehow they're imbeciles that make this playoff schedule. I can't figure it out.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
It's when he swung it easy at 3/4 golf swings, and he pretty much hit his number all the time. Dude, but when he hit something full, he hit it 20 yards over the greens at times. He's like, what are you doing? He's just smiley, happy, and a freakish athlete golf robot that's going to be right there winning majors for the next 10-plus years. It's amazing.
Did you say he was smiling or smiley?
Only on SportsGrid.
They're still the best. They're still the champs. Everyone wants to crown the Celtics the champions, but that's not the way it works. They got to beat them. And, they got to get through the East, which isn't going to be fun to begin with. Everyone thinks it's so automatic.
If it's just Boris is kind of losing his power, if whatever his tactics have been, move on.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Final segment of the day here on the Early Line, Sirius XM Channel 159 on the SportsGrid Network. Davis and Donny here on a Monday, bringing that heat. One more game to playoff preview tonight. 7 o'clock tip, 5:01, 5:02 on the rotation. That is the Orlando Magic and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Overnight lines here, Davis, 5.5. Today's line, still 5.5. No movement there. Total, though, 204.5 is an opening number, down to 203. Now, we're going to be going over some best bets in just a little bit. My best bet probably is going to this game, hint, hint. But how do you see this playing out here? The Cavs, just the better overall team. The Orlando Magic with that nice regular season, but when it's time to step up, they can't get it done. Or can we see the Magic cover and maybe win this basketball game?
Yeah, I'm not on the Magic here. The Magic already threw their wrinkle, which would be starting Jonathan Isaac and getting him to 28 minutes per game. They didn't even wait for game 2 to do that. They just did it in game 1. And it didn't work. You know, Mobley did what he needed to do. Jared Allen had a good game. The reason why you would throw Isaac in there is basically to erase those guys. It didn't work. Where do you get the scoring? I mean, I suppose Jalen Suggs probably is not going to just make 4 shots. If he comes closer to his seasonal averages, they probably get a little bit better. But it is as simple as the Cavaliers are just the much better team. Where they are weak is on the defensive end. They've not really found a solid. Like, really what's happened with the Cavs is Evan Mobley has stagnated in his development. He was awesome as a rookie and actually has honestly gotten worse as an NBA player since the regular season of his rookie year. And much more pressure on the Cavs, where the Cavs do not win this series. Coaches are getting fired. Players are getting traded. Like, it's like everyone is in trouble, you know, if they do not win this series. Whereas the Magic it's totally like they were supposed to be bad this year. They were supposed to be a lottery team. So It's kind of all gravy for them.
House money. By the way, of the 3 games tonight, Magic, Cavaliers, Sixers, Knicks, Lakers, Nuggets, which team is more likely to pull off the upset and also maybe a surprise tonight for you, Davis, between these 3 games?
I don't know if the 76ers are the team that is most likely to get an upset here on Monday. Yes. I mean, I feel pretty confident in that one. I don't think the Lakers have any chance. I definitely could see the Magic winning. You know, if the Magic just happen to randomly get a game where they make 40% of their 3-pointers, they probably run the Cavaliers out of the building because they are going to remain probably the second best defensive team or third best defensive team in the postseason behind the Celtics and the Minnesota Timberwolves. So they've got that going for them. But I would rank upset probability Sixers first, then Magic, then the Lakers.
All right, time for some best bets tonight. Now we got NHL hockey tonight. We got NBA action. We also got Major League Baseball. Davis, where are you going today to give the people something to chew on and maybe a little bit of more plus money in their back pocket?
I'm not giving them plus money. I'm not going to take the 76ers as my best bet because I would need to feel a little bit more assured in Maxi's availability. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to take a favorite. I'm going to go Denver Nuggets -7 points over the Lakers. Last year in the postseason, game 2s after winning game 1, they covered the spread against the Timberwolves in game 2, covered the spread against the Suns by 10 points in game 2. Actually, in game 2 against the Lakers last year, they didn't cover the spread 108-103, but swept them. They're the much better team. I don't see an obvious adjustment here for the Lakers. So Nuggets -7 is my best bet tonight.
Yeah, I can't deny. Like, I actually think there's a really good chance that the Nuggets could win that game by 15-plus points tonight. I really do think that. And then the Lakers circle the wagons in game number 3 to try to climb back into that series. Now, I could go Major League Baseball tonight, which I'm going to have some RBI props later. It's an enjoyable card tonight. Hopefully, we get some hitting conditions to pay attention to. But I'm going to stick it here with the NBA. 3 games on the card tonight. I'll be rooting on the Philadelphia 76ers taking on the Knicks. That's my squad. Hopefully, Maxey is healthy and so is Joel Embiid. But I'm going to go to that Magic Cavaliers game. I'm not going to lay the 5.5 points, but I saw enough out of game number 1 where you might legitimately again get 2 teams that don't get to 100 points. So I'm going to go under the 203 number, which is such a paltry one. Like, hey, look, it's 55-50 at the break. Well, they're way on pace one here to get over. I just don't see this type of being an offensive series, and I agree that price should be low. Now, it was close to me, Davis, that Sixers-Knicks game. If we didn't have any conclusions that Joel Embiid and or Maxey would be banged up and the illness tonight, I'd go right back on the over, which I hit from Friday as one of my best bets for the weekend here. But the 206.5, I think, has a legitimate chance to go over, but we do need to see Embiid and Maxey healthy. But for me, once again, it's going to be that Magic Cavaliers total, which I'm going to take at under 203. And look at it. 3 hours down, Davis. You energized? You ready to go? You want to do this again? No replay, right? Let's just go live.
Yeah, look, I got 3 more hours in me. I can talk more Rui Hachimura if that's what we need. We barely scratched the surface of the NFL draft. We're going to be back firing on the NFL draft tomorrow. I heard we were doing a whole hour on the NFL draft tomorrow.